I've got to share this messed up Valentine's Day story that happened to me last year. Now, I'm not one for drama, but this thing was next level. So prepare yourself, because this one's gonna make you rethink swiping right. It's Valentine's Day, and I'm flying solo like always. Feeling a bit lonely, I decide to try my luck on this dating app. Swipe left, swipe right, you know the drill. That's when I match with this girl, Ava. She looks pretty normal in her pics, and she is attractive, so I figure, hey, why not? We start chatting and Ava's all friendly, suggesting we meet up for dinner. I'm thinking, cool, a Valentine's Day date. Maybe I won't spend the evening watching Netflix with my cat this year. So we decide on this low-key restaurant that is like a block away from my apartment. Nothing fancy, just a chill spot. I walk to the restaurant and I get there a bit early, trying to make a good first impression. The place is nice, and there's this cozy vibe in the air. But as I'm waiting, I notice a woman walking in. She's smiling and walks up to me and asked if I was Greg. I tell her yes, and she says that she is Ava. Now here's the kicker. She looks nothing like her pics, like, not even close. I'm not one to judge on appearances, but this was like ordering a pizza and getting a salad. Anyway, I decide to roll with it. Maybe she's got a cool personality, right? We sit down, order some food, and Ava starts talking about her day. Normal stuff, nothing too out of the ordinary. As we're eating, she suggests we go back to her place. I'm thinking, all right, maybe this night's gonna turn around. We hop in her car, and she drives us to this home at the outskirts of town. Looking back, this is where the first red flag should have popped up, but at the time I was trying to be open-minded. Now this house is like something out of a horror movie. Dimly lit, creaky floors, you get the picture. But I'm no wimp, right? We go inside and it's all quiet, just the sound of our footsteps. I'm thinking, this is it, a cozy night in with Ava. But then, she starts acting a bit strange. She's leading me through these narrow hallways, and I'm starting to feel like I'm in a maze. It's weird, but I figure maybe it's just an old house. She opens this door, and there's this chill in the air, like a room you'd see in a crime show. Inside there's this surgical table, medical equipment, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Ava gets this creepy smile on her face, and she starts telling me about this Valentine's Day surprise she's got for me. At this point, I'm piecing things together, and I'm not liking where it's headed. She tells me to lie down on the table, and that's when I straight up bolt for the door. I'm not sticking around for whatever twisted surprise she's got planned. As I'm rushing out, I hear footsteps behind me. It's Ava, and she's holding something in her hand. I'm thinking, this is it. I'm done for. But before she can do anything, there's this loud crash and we both freeze. Turns out the cops busted in, and they're all shouting at Ava to drop whatever she's holding. They arrest her right then and there, and I'm standing there like, what the heck just happened? The room she took me to, it was like a makeshift surgery room. I don't know what Ava was planning, but it gives me the chills just thinking about it. The cops start asking me questions, and I tell them all about our Valentine's Day date. They look at each other like they've just cracked a big case. Turns out Ava was part of some suspected organ harvesting ring. I'm thinking, what? On Valentine's Day? The cops tell me they had a tip about her luring unsuspecting people to her house. I just happened to be the unlucky guy this time. They find all kinds of evidence in her house, like medical supplies and stuff. I'm shook, thinking about what could have happened if the cops didn't bust in when they did. It's like something out of a crime show, but this time, I was the main character. So guys, those of you who frequent those dating apps, be careful who you swipe right on, and always trust your gut. You never know what kind of crazy is hiding behind a fake, pretty face. It was Valentine's Day and I was just chilling in my apartment in the city. Just me, some Netflix, and a pizza on the way. I'm thinking it's gonna be a quiet night, just the way I like it. As I'm waiting for my pizza to arrive, I glance out the window, and that's when I see him. Todd, my ex-boyfriend, standing across the street, staring up at my apartment. Now, Todd and I didn't exactly part on good terms, and it had been months since our breakup. I never thought I'd see him again, especially since I moved to the other side of town. I figure it's just a weird coincidence, right? Maybe he's meeting someone nearby and it's just a small world. But something feels off, like he's not just passing by. He's staring straight at me, and there's this intense look in his eyes. The pizza guy arrives, and I'm trying to shake off the weird feeling. I close the curtains, telling myself it's just my imagination playing tricks on me. But as time goes by, things get stranger. I'm in the middle of some rom-com pizza in hand when I hear a knock on the door. Now, I wasn't expecting anyone, and my friends know better than to drop by unannounced. I freeze, thinking it's just a neighbor or something. Another knock, louder this time. I peek through the peephole, and there he is, Todd. My heart's pounding, and I'm wondering how the heck he found out where I live. What's even more creepy is that at my apartment complex, you have to be buzzed in. So how did he even get in? I ask through the door what he wants, and he starts with the whole "we need to talk" spiel. I'm not up for a Valentine's Day confrontation, so I tell him to go away, that we're done, and I don't want to hear it. But Todd, he's persistent. He starts getting aggressive, banging on the door, yelling about how I owe him an explanation. Now, I'm not the type to freak out easily, but this is getting out of hand. I grab my phone, ready to call the cops, when he says something that sends shivers down my spine. I know you're alone in there. Open up. That's when it hits me. He's been watching me. That stare from across the street, the way he knew I was alone. It's like he's been planning this. Panic sets in, and I'm thinking, I need to get out of there. I glance out the window, and his car is parked nearby. It's not a neighborhood where people leave their cars just anywhere, so this is deliberate. He's been waiting for the right moment. I grab my keys, shove my phone in my pocket, and make a run for it. I head for the stairwell, trying to be as quiet as possible. I can hear him still banging on the door, yelling my name. My heart's racing, and all I can think about is getting out of there. I hit the ground floor and slip out the back door of the building. I can see his car, and I know I need to get as far away as possible. I start walking, trying not to draw attention to myself. I'm constantly checking over my shoulder, expecting to see him following me. I decide to head for a friend's place, thinking I'll be safe there. But as I'm walking, I hear a car engine behind me. I glance back, and it's him. Todd's in his car, slowly following me. I break into a run, zigzagging through the streets, trying to lose him. I finally make it to my friend's building, and I can see Todd still parked nearby. I run inside, frantically buzz my friend, and she lets me in. I'm out of breath, terrified, and she can see it in my eyes. We peek out the window, and Todd's car is gone. I explain everything to my friend, and we decide it's best to call the cops. They show up, take my statement, and promise to keep an eye out. But Todd, he's vanished into the night. It's been a while since that Valentine's Day, but I can't shake the feeling of his eyes on me. I moved apartments, changed my routine, but there's always that fear that he might show up again. So, this is my messed up Valentine's Day that turned into a nightmare. Sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that hit a little too close to home. So, last Valentine's Day, my boyfriend Liam and I decided to do something different. Instead of the usual dinner and a movie, we thought, hey, why not rent an Airbnb, for some romantic vibes? But trust me, this ain't your typical Valentine's Day story. Buckle up, because this one still gives me the creeps. We found this cute little cabin in the woods. Seemed perfect, right? Fireplace, cozy vibes, the whole deal. We get there, and the place is exactly like the pictures. Sweet start to the weekend. Night falls, and we're in the living room wrapped in blankets, enjoying the warmth from the fireplace, and then we hear a knock on the door. Now, we're in the middle of nowhere, and it's late, so this is kinda weird. Liam looks at me, and I can see the confusion in his eyes. Who the heck is knocking at this hour? I go to the door, thinking maybe the owner forgot something, but when I open it, there's no one there. Just the cold night air and the sound of leaves rustling in the wind. Weird, right? I shake it off, thinking it's just the woods playing tricks on us. We go back to our romantic cocoon, but then it happens again. Another knock. This time Liam goes to check it out. He opens the door, looks around, and nada. No one. Now we're starting to feel a bit uneasy. Maybe someone's messing with us, or maybe we're just hearing things. I mean, it's a cabin in the woods. Strange noises are par for the course, right? We decide to forget about it and get ready for bed. That's when we hear footsteps outside. Clear as day, crunching leaves, like someone's pacing around the cabin. We freeze. Liam grabs a flashlight, opens the door, and shines it into the darkness. Nothing. Not a soul in sight. But the footsteps, they're still there, circling the cabin. At this point, we're officially freaked out. We're in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by trees, and there's someone, or something, lurking outside. We debate calling the owner, but it's late and we don't want to seem like paranoid lunatics. We decide to hunker down, lock all the doors and windows, and try to get some shut-eye. But as we lay there, the footsteps continue, and now we hear whispers, like hushed voices just outside the walls. We can't make out what they're saying, but it's giving us major heebie-jeebies. I grab my phone, ready to dial 911 if things get any weirder. But then, it goes silent. No more footsteps, no more whispers. We're left in this eerie stillness, wondering if we imagined the whole thing. Morning comes, and we're both exhausted. We didn't sleep a wink, and the sunlight streaming through the cabin windows feels like a relief. We decide to check out early, thinking maybe it's just some bizarre night in the woods, and we can laugh about it later. As we're packing up, there's a knock at the door. Not the creepy, mysterious knocks from last night, but a regular human knock. Tentatively, Liam opens the door, and there's this guy standing there, middle-aged, disheveled, like he just stumbled out of the woods. He mumbles something about being lost and asks if we can give him a ride to town. Now, we're not heartless, but this is weird. We're in the middle of nowhere, and he looks like he's been out here for days. No car, no nothing. We politely decline, saying we've got plans and need to hit the road. The guy just stares at us, this intense gaze that sends shivers down my spine. He finally nods, turns around, and disappears into the trees. We watch him go, and the moment he's out of sight, the footsteps start again, like he's still pacing around out there. We hightail it out of that cabin, tossing the keys back in the lockbox, not bothering to leave a note for the owner. The drive back is silent. We're both trying to process what happened, but it doesn't make any sense. Who was that guy? And what was he doing out there in the dead of night? We never reported it or anything. It's one of those experiences that you just want to forget, but it lingers in the back of your mind. Valentine's Day turned into a creepy adventure, and now, every time I hear a knock on the door or footsteps outside my window, I can't help but wonder if it's that guy from the woods again. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on more spine-chilling tales. Subscribe now for weekly scares. Hit that red button and join our journey into the unknown.